Hello everybody, welcome back to Diamond Painting with Eskies. We are going to start this beautiful, awesome rose painting. I'm so excited for it. I have had a good look over on it to see, if my colors, because there's a sticker that's blank, and I was like, what in the name of goodness? This one. So, on my last painting, these dark areas were supposed to be the dark color, which I have to tell you, had to be 154. There's just no way around it. Anyway, but I searched and searched, and the dark color has coded areas, numbered areas, I guess you would say. These grayer areas, the only thing that I can figure out would correspond to it by looking at the picture and looking at this is this one right here. So, when you see me working with that, no, I'm not crazy. I just seem like it sometimes. Anyway, so we have a ton of black background on here. This canvas is so nice and soft. It is linen, obviously, and the gesso coating on it is very nice and thick. Gesso is a base paint layer. It's not a normal paint. It is designed to help the acrylic paint and oil paints adhere to the canvas. So it's a really neat product in that way, and you always find it underneath very high quality artists' paintings. Okay? So what I'm going to do here is have you pause for just a moment, and I will show you then what brushes I'm going to work with and go from there. Okay, everybody. Sorry about that. I had to close the door. The boys are yapping away. So this is the majority of the kit that my son bought me, plus the little blue brushes that I received in my last kit. So I have pulled some of them out of this kit and put them down here so that I can already have everything prepared. Yes, I could have used something like this on a lot of this big black area along with this. But I think that for me, they're a little bit too big for what I want to do with this painting. So these are the brushes I have pulled out of that set. You can see I have a large flat, which is, let me tell you the sizes in case you have brushes. So this is a number 10 flat. I also have a number 6 flat pulled out. And then I have my filberts in sizes 7 and 4. Now, as you can see, I'm going to show you the difference between a flat and a filbert. Okay, so this is a flat brush, and you can see the edge is cut straight across, making a flat surface. A filbert has this rounded, feathery edge. Okay? So it allows you to do some things that you would have trouble with on a flat brush. I also have a very small filbert, which is a size 2. Okay? Because I will need that inside of the areas of the rose quite a bit. I have a number 4 round pulled out, and it truly is just a round, and it comes to pretty much a point at the end. And then I will be using my detail brushes. Now, I'm pretty certain, in fact, I would guarantee I will be using the detail flat, the angle, okay? I don't know if I will need that fine liner on this, but we will see. And I would bet that I will also, in fact, I would put money on me also using this size, we say 3/0, okay, for brushes. And what that means is, hopefully you can see, 3/0. So what happens with sizing brushes is that there is a 0. Anything bigger than that goes 1 through whatever, and anything below that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, smaller as you go, higher numbers. But they have a /0 on the other side, on the small side. That is why this flat does not have a 0 on the other side of it. It is still above the 0 brush. Okay? That will kind of uncomplicate things. this is a size 0 brush. Okay? So anything above it, the numbers get bigger, it gets larger. Anything below it, the numbers get bigger, it gets smaller. But it will have a /0. So those are basically your brush information. I'm also going to be using this right here. Okay? This is a silicone tip. It is a chisel tip. And it's great for mixing paints. And it's, you know, if you want to do a technique that is similar to a palette knife, which I don't have a palette knife, and I'm not a specialist with them by any means anyway, so I'm okay with that. I am not Afromov, who painted everything in palette knife, and his paintings were stunning. So, what I'm going to do, though, in order to cover these big black areas, I'm going to put some of the black paint on my painting plate here. And that way I can put the bigger brushes in it, because they will not fit. Those big brushes are not going to fit in these little pots of paint. Just saying. These all would, but this one won't. So that is what my silicone chisel tip is for, is to pull some of that black paint out so I can work with the bigger size brush. I also have a bowl of warm water. It doesn't have to be warm, you guys. It's just my preference. And I have a paper towel to wipe my brushes off on. If I'm going to be doing some blending, I will then bring out the baby wipes, because that helps with blending. Alright, so rather than starting way up here in the corner, what I'm going to do is come, you know, around the design where the 310, oh my goodness, where the black goes. Can we tell I diamond paint a little bit, or stitch a little bit? You know, my brain just goes to it. It's just how it works. I'm looking for the bright glasses. Good luck. Anyway. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, well, they're already out here, that's why. Yeah. Okay. I have the magnifier handy, just in case. And it really does work, y'all. Seriously. Hopefully I won't need it. I also have my picture to reference in case something doesn't look quite right to me. You can see in here, these petals are blended, and on the painting, it's not blended. I will be trying to blend them. As soon as possible, I will get some blending gel medium or for acrylics, or I will get some acrylic extender, which will also deter the drying time, which is what I want so I can blend. But for now, yeah, we're going to work in around these places so I can just work inside of the pot at the moment. And then later on tonight, I will fill in the rest of the black background. That's my project for tonight, is fill in all the black background. So they gave me 3 pots of this black color. Oh, I also have a bunch of toothpicks handy. This is almost a charcoal gray. Yes, Christy Butt. Are you telling me how that's going to be? So I have those in case these paints are a little thick. Then I can add a bit of water and mix them thoroughly. Chrissy apparently is trying to have a discussion with me right now, you guys. She's so sweet and cute. Oh, she's just adorable. I like to start with a moist brush, because I find that then my paint flows much more nicely. Hold on one sec, folks. Let me find out what my baby needs. Okay, sorry if you're shaking a little bit. So I have wet my brush, and I have my clean paper towel, and I'm just going to take the excess of water out of it. When you load your paintbrushes, do not load the entire length of the brush with paint. There is a very good reason for that. As you work the brush, it's going to push paint up into the top end of the bristles. You have to carefully clean your brushes so that it doesn't stay there and cause your bristles to splay outward and and not keep the shape that you need them to have. So we're going to work right in here first because it's easy for me to get to. It is taking the longest strokes possible. You can always put on a second coat. Otherwise, you're going to have to paint over it. But you see why it's pushing the paint up in there. So this is more of a charcoal black. It's kind of an interesting and pretty color. It's not a stark black. It's a soft black. I know that may not make sense to a lot of people, but there are different types of black. There's Mars black, there's plain black, there's all kinds of them. 3 or 4 different types, I think. But this is what I call a soft black, which means it's more in the family of gray, but it will read black from a distance for sure. And you can see that's what I'm doing. I probably should have ironed this canvas, but yeah, no. Didn't want to. Because when I go to stretch it on a frame to work on the primary part of it, you will see how that works out. And you can see this is drying very, very, very fast. Acrylic, you only have a few minutes of working time. Now this paint consistency is very nice, just so you know. It's not too thick. However, as your pots are open, you will need to occasionally add 1 or 2 drops of water and stir them very thoroughly to thin them back down, because the air is going to dry your paint out. What I normally will do is hold my paint pot like that, and then I can get to it easily, but it's keeping it closed for the sake of not drying out my paint. In this case, I'm not really worrying about it. This black has a fairly medium body, which means that it is not thick, but it's not liquid either. Some paints will come so thick it's crazy. If that happens, add 1 or 2 drops of water, stir it carefully and very thoroughly, and you can always add a little more water. You can't take it out if you get too much in. So then you gotta let the paints dry. But every time you have to do that, it's going to, if you get it too watery, it's going to slightly modify the color of the paint, make it a little more transparent. So I try not to do that any more than necessary for thinning it, and I'm very cautious in how much I use when I thin my paints. So as you can see, I'm not trying to be fancy, you guys. I'm trying to get the coverage. I'm also trying to be careful where I'm heading in to the area that is the rose. I used to sing and play the rose on the piano. The song, it makes me think of the song right now. Crazy. Now, if I were anybody other than me, because like I said before, I have my own way of doing things, I would come in this with a small brush, like detail brush along this edge. I'm just fairly good at doing it this way. Now, every once in a while, I will need to rinse out my brushes because, as you can see, the paint is pushing further and further up into the brush. You have to be careful not to let it get too far up in there. Am I getting right along the line? Kind of. Not completely. But I can always touch it up. Believe it or not, there is a reason that I go darkest color first on the background. I do the foreground last because I want it to sit forward in the viewer's eye. The reason I do the dark color first is because I have from experience found that it is much easier to put a bright color on dark paint than it is to try and go the other way. I know that's backwards, right? The only thing that I wouldn't want to do is try to put white on black. That would take several coats. But for the colors that this painting has, yeah, the black behind it will just make it pop if it's back there, so it's okay. Not a point of panic for me. the whole thing for me with doing these is that they relax me quite a lot. I normally sit here and don't speak at all, but I wanted to give you all a tutorial in doing part of this. And I will do several small videos on painting techniques instead of trying to do one huge one and tell you everything and you not be able to really consume it, if you know what I mean, because it can be overwhelming. Sorry, I just bumped the camera, so it's wiggling. I'm very sorry. I will come in right down in here with a detail brush, because, yeah, I don't trust myself with that one. So yeah, I'm normally super quiet when I work. I think everybody thinks that I just have all this talkativeness all the time. No, not really. I'm pretty quiet. Other than talking to my puppies or messaging my friends, that kind of thing. Other than that, I tend to sit here and try to enjoy and focus on what I'm doing, whether that be a diamond painting, a paint by numbers, or, you know, my stitching. Or knitting, for that matter. Okay. So I've rinsed out my brush to get some of the paint out of the back of the brush because I don't want, like I said, to cause separation of the bristles later. And it's easier if I do that than if I have to try and wash it all out. Now, direction of brush strokes will matter when you're doing something like a flower to some degree. Especially if you're trying to leave brush strokes. Then you want to make sure that they're going in the right direction. But for something like this, it doesn't matter. The whole background is one color, for one. For two, we have the point that I'm doing thin layers. I'm not doing a textural technique, which is referred to as impasto. I'm not doing that. I am doing thin, even coats to get my coverage. So, no, you can't tell from there. But this, because I want a smooth surface on this painting. Might I add a tiny bit of texture around the edges of some petals? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to switch to a larger brush. So I am carefully cleaning out this small filbert, which is a size 2. Because I don't want any paint left in it. And we are going to switch to a size 7. So quite a big filbert because I'm going to work on filling a little bit of this in real quick. And I don't think I need the Esky hair for that. There it is. Let's see. Is it gone? Yeah, I think it's gone. Still, only paint on the tip. Okay. It's that way with every brush. Now, what's nice about these big brushes is to get these background areas, you can pull up on the brush and see more what you're doing. I am doing these strokes like that so that it is thin and even. Okay? That is the purpose behind it. Now, if I were to paint an area and paint it the wrong color, that is what that lovely pattern piece of paper that they send you is for. Is so that you can then realize what you needed on there in the first place. Or if you're going to go in and blend and it's already been painted and you decide you want to blend it later, you have that for reference. And it helps a lot. This will allow me to get quite a bit of this filled in. That's why I said my project for a night is get all this black on. I have large brushes, I can do that. So it makes it much simpler. Those detail brushes, I'm going to need them all through the rose. All throughout it. But for this, there's a lot of black paint. And it is a nice consistency. Hopefully the other colors will be just as nice. Some of them might be a little thicker because they're going into detailed areas. But you tend to find that your background colors need to be just a tiny bit thinner than the colors of your main picture because you need them to spread out nicely, evenly. And as you can see, yes, you can see the direction of my strokes there, but once it dries, you probably will not be able to see them. But I'm still being careful to try and get them to all go in the same direction. I am not watching this through the camera because I can't get the paint in the right area and do that. I can do that with stitching. I can't do that with this. Like, see, I couldn't see that this wasn't fully filled in by sitting back like that. The reason I'm going over the areas so much is not just for even coverage. It's also to get the paint to push down in the grain of the fabric. This is a woven fabric, so the threads go horizontally and vertically and cross over one another, weaving it together. So, as well gessoed as this canvas is, it's going to show through if you don't get the paint down in those areas. Don't try to scrub it in. You will only ruin your brushes. You always want to do it just, you know, I can come across like this and catch them. And then just smooth it out in the direction I want. Because you've got a little bit of working time. I really hope that you all enjoy doing these paintings with me and that you will maybe get yourself an adult paint by number and give it a try. I shake horribly since my accident, and it gets worse every year. So I stopped painting because of it. This is giving me the opportunity to paint again and not feel like one false move with my hand is going to ruin everything. So, because that can be very frustrating. When you're doing an original image and that happens, it would be frustrating on this, let me tell you. So, see, like here, I can go in the opposite direction a little bit, but I'm going to end it by pulling the paint down. A, it's going to make it go further. B, it's going to keep the strokes all unidirectional, which is what I want for the end product. It's up to you. You can do, you know, just random stroke directions, and it's fine. There's no problem with that. I personally want this to be super smooth. But that's me. Some paintings, that's not what I want. Some paintings, it is. It all depends on what I'm doing. Got a little spot that didn't want to go into the canvas grain there. So we're going to check on it, put a little more paint in there, and there we are. Super easy. If you make a mistake on these, it's okay. You have a pattern guide. You can always go back in and paint over it. Okay? That's no problem. So please don't let something like that frustrate you or worry you. A lot of people are like, oh, what if I make a mistake? Paint over it. Just paint it over with the right color. It's okay. This painting is yours. If I wanted to do this background purple, that's fine. It's my painting. Doesn't matter. I love the black background on this, so that's what I'm going with. I have a random hair out of place. Okay. Not on my head, guys. My brushes are made of natural hair. Oops, I just hit you with my glasses. Sorry about that. If I go over the edge, that's okay from that line because it's going to get framed. So it's no big deal. I'm just kind of picky. I know. Me? Picky? Oh my goodness, no. I just place pretty much every drill carefully, so... and every stitch, and nobody would think that I was that cautious. I think that we are seeing some not so much change, but growth in the community right now, where people have been introducing coloring and they're introducing a little stitching. I wasn't going to introduce any new things. And I had some friends tell me, no, you do a lot of really interesting things and we'd like to see them. So you need to put them on the channel for us. Okay. So here we are. And I think it's a great idea. If, like I said, if I can bring you to find another thing that you enjoy, that brings you any relaxation, comfort, happiness, anything like that, then I'm happy to do that. Very happy to. So, sorry, the guys are talking very loudly in the background. I don't know why they need to be that loud. My bedroom door is even closed. So, you know, figure that out. I'm going to do a little bit more with this nice sized 7 filbert because there's still some more bulk area up in here to do. I'm hoping my head is staying off the camera today because I look like crap and I really don't care, but I don't want to be on camera like that. That's the only thing. I don't want you all to see me that way. My ponytail's all messy and stuff, so yeah. I am hoping to be able to reach a point on this that I can film for the Christmas Day premiere and maybe do this instead of diamond painting. This will probably go up tonight, so if you think that would be a nice idea, please let me know because mine is on Christmas Eve at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. I believe that we have 36, it's either 36 or 46 hours of channels, each doing an hour slot. I nearly had to back out the other day. Just so much going on. And the only thing that will make me completely back out is my son's health. Or one of the puppies. But I don't know if I will be there in the chat on the premiere. I'm going to try. I really, really am going to try for everybody. But at least it's a place where you guys can come together, you can chat, and you can relax. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and I guess there are a couple on the following day, which is called Boxing Day. I just don't know what time that's going to end here in the U.S. If you want more extensive information on what we're doing, please go check out the sweet lady whose idea this was. And she not only had the idea, she implemented it. And she did a lovely job of it. And that would be Pippa Brown. Yeah, this was her baby as far as this entire Christmas premiere. I am doing a collab with Jennifer Roberts over multiple weeks. But I decided to do this as well, as long as it could be on Christmas Eve, because I will not be able to even come close to my chat on Christmas Day. And I talked it over with my son to make sure that I would be okay to do it Christmas Eve, and he said as long as nothing goes wrong, yeah, we're fine, Mom. So, hopefully, I can be in the chat. Otherwise, you all will be able to chat while the video is playing. But I really am seriously thinking about doing it with this. And wow, am I smacking my camera today. I'm really sorry. It's my phone. It's in a holder. But it's also my filming camera. I don't even know if you can see what I'm doing down here. Let's move it up. Solve the problem, right? Maybe then I'll quit whacking the dang phone. Alright, so I have come down here. I'm filling in all this major area because I can come back in, like I said, with a smaller, more detailed brush, which will more than likely be a combination of a couple of brushes. probably the angled detail brush, which is the size 0, and the straight detail 3/0, or as it's better known in the painting community, 3/0. That's just how it's listed, guys. Bullets are made the same way. So are guns. You know, you hear of a 40-aught. Yeah, I think that's the grain count in bullets, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time since I've dealt with any of that. So, but look at this. We've filled in this whole side of the black, except for right here, which we're going to do right now. And then I'm going to hop off of here and put this video out for you guys. No, I am not doing any editing at the moment. I'm not even adding my intro or my cards at the end. I'm just trying to get these videos out to you guys, and my phone is not wanting to charge very quickly. In fact, it's beyond slow, and so it goes dead a lot. So in the time it would take to edit, produce, and load to YouTube, I would have no phone. It wouldn't hold up to do that at all. It would take me days and days if I try to do it with editing. So until we figure out what to do about it, sorry, there's not going to be any cutesy puppy intros that I'm aware of. Who knows, maybe one day my phone will be behaving and I'll edit one with the puppies again. Because I really do like that pretty little intro of mine. I've had it for quite a while now. Okay. So at that point, I'm going to stop with you guys, and I'm just going to continue filling in all of the black on it and go from there. My thoughts and prayers are with all of you as always. I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday night. I will see you all on the live tomorrow. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.